Hello there and welcome back to another Thunderous Productions tutorial. I'm the madman behind the mic, Jag Thunder, and this is Minecraft. Alright guys, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to install single player commands. I'm going to show you where to get it, how to install it, and then some basic uses for it. Now you can use the wiki. I'm not going to cover everything on all the uses. So anyways, this is where you get it. The link will be in the description and this is the page that you will go to. Alright, you're going to scroll down to where you find downloads or click the downloads above, and you're going to find the single players, the latest version 1.62. There is an automated installation. It is coming soon. It has not been updated. I've never used that, so I'm not going to cover that. I'm going to download the manual installation version, so you're just going to click on the preferred or alternate and download it. And there's also some instructions there too. But I'd prefer you watch this video. That's why it's here. So anyways, go ahead and download it. And then save it to a spot where you can easily find it, either in your downloads folder or create a new folder like I've done on my desktop. And this is where I keep all my 1.62 mods. So we're going to be covering the single player commands. So I'm going to put this up here for right now. We're going to go down to our start bar. We're going to go to run, type in %appdata%, click OK. Now that'll take us to our roaming file. We're going to go to .minecraft, and inside we'll have versions. Alright, you may have some other clients already in here or profiles that you've already created, and you probably already know how to do some of this. So we're going to create a new profile and we're going to copy the 1.62. This is just the vanilla jar. So we're going to right click on that. We're going to copy it and paste it to the desktop. And let me minimize that for a minute and get that out of the way. And now we're going to rename this to something else. And because we're just doing SPC, we're going to name it SPC. And make sure you use an underscore, no spaces, and you can name it whatever you want. But for this tutorial, that's what we're going to name it. Now we're going to place it back into the versions folder, just like that. And we're going to open it up. And you'll have a jar file and you'll have a JSON file. JSON file, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, your jar file, mine probably looks a little different than yours. Mine automatically opens with WinZip, and you will need WinZip to do this. And you can do this with Notepad, but I use Notepad++. It's a free download and really easy to use and download. But anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to rename these two files right here. Click rename, and it has to be exactly the same as what your folder is called. So go ahead and rename both of those. Right click, rename, underscore SPC. Alright, now we're going to open up the JSON file with either Notepad, or I'm going to edit it with Notepad++. It doesn't matter which one you use. This one's just a little bit easier because it's right here at the top. But you're looking for ID, and then in parentheses you'll have 1.6.2. Now we're going to use the underscore and the SPC and name it the exact same thing as we named the other files. And click Save, and close it. And then we can go ahead and open up the jar file. Once we open up the jar file, you want to first delete the meta-inf. Click yes, and I can get this out of the way because I don't need it right this minute. Go to where your single player commands is and open that up, and you're going to copy all these files except for the world edit jar. And you're going to drop and drag these in. Click OK. Close that out. We're going to close this out for right now. Going to go back to our appdata.minecraft folder. Inside you'll find the bin. Open that up. Open up your single player commands again and take the world edit jar and drop it and drag it into the bin folder. I already have it there, so I'm not going to do it again for this tutorial. Go ahead and close everything out and start your 1.62 Minecraft client. Now we're going to create a new profile. So click new profile and name it whatever you want, but to keep consistency, we're going to name it 1.6.2 underscore SPC, and we're going to make sure game directory is checked. And if you want to send Mojang to fix crashes, go ahead and check that, or anything else that you see fit within this box. We want to use the version. We're going to down click, and you may have to scroll up and down to find it, but you're going to find the new one that we just created, the 162 SPC. And if you want to change your RAM and all that kind of shit, you can do that down here. You can watch another tutorial for all that shit. But that's the most important parts of that profile, so we're going to save that profile. Now all we have to do is play that profile. So make sure that it is selected, that it didn't jump back to something else. And make sure the 162 SPC is selected, and we're going to go ahead and play it. Alright guys, once in game, single player works like this. You can hit the T on the keyboard and that brings up your type screen, put /help, and that will give you a list of single player commands. I hit T again just to show everything else, and there is a lot more if you scroll up. This is everything in single player commands that you can do. Now as of 1.6.2, not all of these work or work correctly. I'm going to show you the ones that I know that definitely work in 1.62, and you can also check the main page where the download is for any kind of updates of what's working and what's not. My favorite one that everybody really likes too is the /reach. Is still broke as of as far as I know, as of right now. It still does not work in 1.6.2. So I use Zom's mod pack for reaching, and I'll have a separate tutorial on that. But anyways, so we're going to start off with some basic commands, how to select objects, deselect objects, and move them around and copy them and all that. So we're going to start with my shitty little house right here, and what we need is we're going to need the wand tool. So /wand will give you a wooden axe. Now as you can see, it says left click for first position, second right click for second position. Now again, ever since we had creative mode, when you left click the first position will jump all over the place. And some of you are probably asking what that green block is on the screen. This is World Edit CUI, guys, and I have a separate tutorial on how to install this so that you can actually see what you're selecting, and it does work in 1.6.2. But anyways, that is your first position. Your second position is by right clicking. So now you can see that I've selected one layer, and it is this size right here. So I can right click again and move it around to wherever I want it. Now you're asking me, well, what about the first position, because it's fucked up? So if you look at a position and type /hpos1, that will give you your H position 1. Now you don't have to use the axe. You can look at something, and hpos2 will give you your second position. Also, you can use positions /pos1. Now it's right where I'm standing or flying, or I can go down here and do pos2, and that selects that region. So that's how you select a region. So now that we know how to do that, let's go ahead and fill this in real quick. So we're going to hpos1 here, and I'm going to right click over there, and we're going to change this selection and fill those holes back in with sand. So it's /set and then the item number 12 is sand. So as you can see, it filled it back in. To get a better look, we're going to set it to grass, and now you can see everything has changed. Now you're asking me, well, how do I get rid of this if I'm using CUI? If you're using CUI, it is /SEL. Oops, /SEL, and that will get rid of the CUI so that you can start over again. But anyways, that's how you make your selection and change it. So we're going to take this little house here, and we're going to make a selection on it. All right, hpos1, and I don't have a block up here. I could create one, but I'm just going to do a pos2 and select this region. And the reason why is I'm going to show you how to correct this if you don't have your selection quite right. So we go F3, and as you can see, we are facing north. All right, so we're going to need to contract this side east. So what we're going to do is we're going to do /contract, and how many blocks, and I didn't really look at it, I think it's 4, and we're going to contract it east. So you can either type it out east or put an E, and as you can see, it just moved that in 4 blocks. Well, I went too many, so we're going to expand 1 back to the west, and as you can see, it moved back to the west. Same thing with all the other sides. So if I want to move this closest side to me back towards me with /, and we're going to expand 5 south, and as you can see, it went 5 south. So if I want to expand the other side 5 north, that does that side. So that's pretty much how that works. So let's go ahead and contract that back in. Contract 5 south, and that brings that one back in, and contract 5 north. All right, and that reselects it. I'm still just a little heavy. 2 south, and that recontracts back to our main selection. Now once we have the selection made, we can do a lot of different things with it. First thing we're going to do is I want to find out what is inside of that. So DISTR, oops, no capital, DISTR, and that gives us a count of everything that is within that selection. So as we can see, I've got 1 piece of wool, that's the one here in the front, and the block number is 35. I've got 2 anvils on the inside, it gives the block number. I've got 3 trap doors. I've got 7 steps, 10 pieces of glass, 15 stone, 29 wood, 42 cobblestone, and then 332 air blocks. All right, is what we need to know is inside of this selection, you also have air blocks, and that's very important when you're copying and pasting around the area, because those air blocks will get copied and cut out anything around it, and they work just like a wedge. Now, as you can see, also in there I had an item frame and also an item in it, and that did not show up. So some things will not show up in single player commands. All right, so we have this selection selected, and now we want to copy this and put it somewhere else on the map. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to this this block here after we have our selection made, and we're just going to do / copy. All right, now we have this whole selection copied to our clipboard. So now we want to move it to a different position. So first, if we keep it and just paste it anywhere, this is what happens. It pastes it right in front of you, just the way exact spot that you copied it. So if I copied it right here and I paste it, it's going to paste to the left of me, and this block is going to be in front of me. That's why I have this block here as a reference point. So if I copied it over here, and let's go ahead and go over another command real quick. I don't want that. / undo. That just undoes the last thing that we did. All right, so let's copy it from this side. / copy. All right, and we're going to do that again. We're going to come over here and we're going to paste it. PASTE. And as you can see, I copied it from the reference point where I was standing. So if I was in the air and copied this and then tried to paste it, it's going to paste it wherever I am in the air. So if I move up or down, it could drive that thing into the ground. So be sure when you're copying your selections to give yourself a good reference point, and that way when you paste it, as you can see here in just a minute, we're going to know exactly where we're going to paste this thing. So let's undo that again, and we're going to copy this selection again from this point. All right, and we're going to rotate it over here. I want the door to be on this side. I don't want it facing this way. I want it facing this way. So facing north, when you rotate 90, it rotates to the right, clockwise. So I'm going to paste to this point right here, but before I do, I need to rotate 90 degrees. All right, so it says clipboard has rotated your schematic 90 degrees. Now we can paste it. And as you can see, the door is now in the front. Notice that the item frame did not copy. Again, that's one of the things that is not working in the single player commands, which that's no big deal. The main part of it does work. So anyways, now we have it rotated on the clipboard. If I try to paste this thing anywhere else, that's the way it is going to be. So we're going to undo that, and let's say we want to put it over here on this position. And you would think, well, okay, well, just rotate it 90 degrees more, because it's already rotated to this position right here. And it's not like this anymore. You wouldn't rotate this 180, because now that we've already rotated it on the clipboard, another 90 degrees will put it into this position. So let me show you. We're going to rotate 90 more degrees, and we're going to paste. And as you can see, there's the door. And again, 90 degrees more. So I want to undo, and I want to undo that again. Let's just get rid of this, because I don't think I have. Okay, there we go. Undo two. That does the last couple things that we did. Now I'm going to recopy this. All right, and I have it copied just like this now. It's not rotated or anything. So if I just want to just go 180, just like that. Or if I want to go all the way over here, let's undo that. And then we're going to have to recopy the selection, because now it's still at 180. So I want to recopy this again. All right, so it's facing that way, and I want to move it to this position. Rotate to 70. And there it is. So that's how you can do multiple movements from a schematic or a building or a selection, one way or the other. All right, so let's undo that again. All right, let's say that our house is not where we want it, or whatever that we have selected. We want to move it one way or the other. Again, your directions: north, south behind me, east to the right, west to the left. We want to move this house north, let's say 6 blocks. So we're going to slash move 6. That's going to move the whole selection 6 blocks. Now, as you can see, I did not grab the lower part or the floor, and the item frame falls off. So again, the item frames are not real friendly with single player commands. So I'm going to undo that, and we're going to expand 1 down. Now that grabs the bottom, and we're going to push it back north again. Move 6 north. And it moves north, and as you can see, it grabbed the wood and everything, and it left a hole because it took the floor with it. So that's how you move it that way. Let's undo that again, and let's go west with it this time. So move 5 west. So there, we can move it that way. Now, if you want to move it from this position, you can't just double click move and move this again. You'll have to reselect this object, because as you can see, this area is still selected. So if I move this area, the only thing I'm going to move is the air blocks and everything that's selected on part of this house. So you'll have to deselect that and reselect the object to remove it again. But we're going to undo it and move it back. And now we're going to move it up 5 blocks. Oops. Move 5 up. And of course the sand falls off because sand falls. So that's how you move it up. And we can move it back down. And that puts it back in. And see what I did? Is I did not reselect the roof, so it didn't pull the roof back down. So we're going to undo that. We're going to go up here. We're going to re-grab the roof. T, pause 2. And again, it doesn't matter. We're just grabbing air blocks. And now we're going to move it back down. And there we go. And unselect it. And damage is already done because we grabbed air blocks from underneath it, did not reselect the front block, and it moved the air blocks that were underneath the house down in this position. Plus, it grabbed the pause position that I put up here. So we learned from that exercise, be sure that you reselect the object exactly the way that you want to select it. Otherwise, you're going to grab air blocks and you're going to create things that you don't want to create. So be very careful when you're moving things, especially without the CUI in place, because it's very difficult without putting some sort of place blocks down to determine exactly what you're moving unless you've been using this for quite a while. All right, let's look at a couple other commands. Another really easy and fun command is water. You can get rid of some water by doing some drain and a radius of 10, and that drains your water. At this point, I should probably go ahead, and I probably already put it in the editing part of the video because I just remembered this. Be very, very careful with world edit, guys. Know the limitations of your computer. Do not go ape shit. This will crash your client. This could break your game, and this can permanently damage and ruin your world. Some of the commands cannot be undone, so make sure you always do backups of your worlds before you make any kind of changes to it. So anyways, is what we did. We did a radius of 10 all the way around us. So 10 this way and then 10 this way. So imagine a big globe around me of a diameter of 20 drained all this water. So we want to fill this back in. So we just fly into it and we make sure we are wet, and we're going to do fix water 10. Or whoops, we're going to do a little bit more because I want to make sure I get all of it. So we're going to do 20. Fix water 20. And as you can see, there's still some pockets in it. Again, it is not 100%. You got to have, you got to be in the right position sometimes to do it and get it fixed all correctly. So that is another kind of a glitch in the water system, and this also works with lava. So if this was lava, you do the same thing. You would drop in and you would do lava. So actually we can just go ahead and set some. All right, so I went ahead and I got some lava, and we're going to drop down in it, and we're just going to do a drain 10. Now your lava's gone. So if you're down mining and you're playing somewhat legitimately, you can at least get water out of the way. But I guess that wouldn't be legitimate now, would it? So that does work on your lava. And the same thing, if you have running lava, you can fix that too. So we're just going to set down in it, fix lava, and then the radius. There we go. Now we got it fixed. And it's not running anymore. So this is real helpful for shitty areas in your world that the water is messed up or the lava is messed up. All right, the next thing I want to show you is, let's show you the biome changer. All right, there we go. Now we have this selected right here. Now we can do a set biome and change this area right here in front of us to a forest. Yes, we're in the desert. This is now changed to a forest. And to prove that to you, if we set to, and now we have grass, and get rid of our CUI so we can see, the grass is a lot greener, and it's actually the green from a forest. And again, if I go and I set my rain, or you can do a / toggle downfall, I believe it is. You can turn your rain on and off if you don't have too many items. So as you can see, yes, it is raining in the desert because we just changed the biome. So let's turn that off, and we'll select this again. All right, there we go. So sometimes it's a little glitchy. That's why I like having the CUI so I can see exactly what I'm getting. Now we're going to set biome Taiga. All right, now that it's Taiga, you can see it's changing, and we're going to toggle the downfall again, and this time it will snow. So that's really cool, and it's really helpful if you're just trying to do small square or small rectangle areas. I wouldn't advise probably trying to do large areas. Again, anything large area, changing blocks or messing with your world too bad, like I said, can crash your client or make some pretty permanent fucking changes to your world that you don't want to do. Plus, this having square edges, you don't have a real natural look to changing between, say, a jungle and a desert. So if I selected this area over here and I wanted to make this a forest over on this side, I would have a very square fucking line, and it wouldn't turn out right. So let's go ahead and get rid of the snow for a minute. Speaking of snow, we have snow in an area that we do not want. We can thaw it. So double, thaw, and then a radius. Again, imagine a big bubble around you. So I'm flying in the air, so I want to do a little bit more. So I'm going to do 30. And I just thawed everything. The ice, the snow, and everything. And you can see the circle of the dome that was around me. Problem is if it rains or downfalls again, the snow will return. And the ice comes back anyways. But that's how you get rid of that. I can do the same thing over here, and it will not return. And we can just leave that. Fuck it. Let's change that to. I will leave it a forest for right now, and I'm going to show you something else. Another neat feature in single player commands is I can make trees grow. So you float above the area that you want and do a forest gen. Forest gen. Okay, we do a forest gen, and as you can see, trees will grow. And I still have trouble with this, whether I use 1/ or 2. Anything world edit is 2 slashes. Anything single player commands is a single slash. But you'll still fuck it up. I still fuck it up. But as you can see, I just generated some trees in this area. Now I can't undo that. Once trees are put in, single player commands does not recognize that as an undoable feature. And the last thing, of course, it undid was the snow. So now we have trees in this area. So whether you like them or not, that's what you're going to get. And this is completely random here too. So you may get 1 tree, you may get 10 trees, you may get some short, stubby, fucked up trees, or some really, really tall, big trees. We are going to go over the brush tool. So the brush tool, I'm going to grab an object, and I usually like to use a wooden pickaxe. So we're going to grab the pickaxe, and we're going to do brush, smooth, 5. There we go. I told you, you'll still fuck it up. All right, so that was a single slash to get your first is your brush, obviously, and you're binding it to the pickaxe, and then your smooth, and then how big of an area. 5 is the most intense that you can use. It's the biggest radius, and we're going to come over here, and I'm going to show you how it works. And if you right-click an area, you can slowly start seeing it change. And if you got some really fucked up areas, you can fix it and smooth it out. The only bad part about it is it does it with every object. So if I go over here and I try to smack these trees, that's what happens. You just did some really, really nasty damage to your world. Some of that can be undone, but I think it's only up to probably about 20 moves, maybe 30 at the most. I can't really remember again, guys. But once you've done that and you've just spam fucked the right mouse button, you just embedded all that shit into that land. So be very, very careful with the brush tool. There's some other things that you can do. You can do masking. You can mask off an object and like mask this with grass. I've never used it. I'm not going to go over it because honest to God, I don't know how to use it. You can make spheres. So we can do a double slash, and we want a hollow sphere. We want it made out of what material? We're going to use cobblestone. So you got to know some item numbers here, guys. We're going to use 4 as cobblestone, and then we want a radius. Now remember, your radius is going to be double. So if I put in a 10, I'm going to get a 20. So I'm going to put in a 10. We're going to hit enter, and we are now inside of a perfect 20 sphere. So let's go out and take a look at it. And there it is. So again, be very, very careful with that tool. Don't go ape shit and do like 1,000 fucking block circles, diameters, and shit. You will crash your client. But that is how you make hollow spheres. And so with this tool, you can make walls and all kinds of good shit. It's very, 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 very powerful tool, as you can see. Just be very careful with it. Again, I can't warn everybody enough. Go to the main single player command website, scroll down through all the commands, or do your /help and do like I've done over time, and just go through and see what works. It'll tell you if it's a command is broken, and it'll just say it doesn't recognize the command. And as you can see, there's all kinds of stuff here. Another one that I like is set speed and then a number. So like 4. Now I'm going 4 times the normal speed. And that's a fun one to get around. To set it back, you can just do set speed 1. And that puts you back to normal speed, which is way too damn slow. And again, we're going to go 1.4. Fuck it. That's a little bit faster. So that's another real fun one. And I think that's pretty much about it as far as all the major ones that I use probably the most. But like I said, you can go to the website and check out all the other commands, or go through all of these and see what works and what doesn't. So that is it, guys. That is your single players commands tutorial. That's all I got. I appreciate you watching. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.